A very good afternoon once more and welcome back to News Desk. My name is Ken Mijungu. Let's take you straight now to Kampala in Uganda, where there were twin explosions that have been reported on Parliamentary Avenue in the capital, Kampala. One of the bombs went off near the Jubilee Insurance offices and another exploded near the Kampala Central Police Station. No terrorist organization has this far claimed responsibility for any of those attacks. Ambulances could be seen arriving and leaving the scene, with victims being pushed to various hospitals for emergency treatment. Police threw a cordon around Parliamentary Avenue as the bomb expert combed the area. Parliamentary Avenue hosts several government institutions, including Ministries of Justice, ICT and Education. Several banks are also located on that street. Local media are reporting that 2 people have been reported dead from that explosion that happened earlier on in the morning. We are now joined live from Kampala by Solomon Serwanja, Executive Director, African Institute for Investigative Journalism, and he was also a practicing journalist in the media stations in Uganda. Solomon, good to see you this afternoon. Not so good news from Kampala, Uganda. What is the latest from your end?
And the latest is that the National Referral Hospital has just held a press conference and they're saying they have about 27 casualties who they are treating and about 7 of them are in critical condition. We also know that parliamentary sittings that were supposed to happen today have been called off. The Speaker of Parliament was evacuated. Police and security operatives have sealed off the entire August Assembly with sniffer dogs and heavy deployment of anti-terrorism units. There's heavy traffic on many of the highways in Kampala. The city has been cordoned off. Everyone is trying to go home. The police is suspecting that there could be several other explosions around the city. There's a lot of confusion and commotion in the main city. Sadly, we have had reports that 2 people have so far lost their lives in this attack. The head of state was expected to speak to the country tomorrow, but most likely he may be giving a briefing today to tell the country about what's happening. But these 2 bombs, no one has so far claimed the attacks. But just to look back in Kampala, about last month, 2 bombs went off in a similar way. One of them was in a bus on one of the main highways in Kampala, along the Kampala Gulu Highway. Also, another explosion went off in a drinking point, which had so many people. The police here related it to ADF rebels, and the US has connected ADF to Al-Shabaab. So far, we don't have enough evidence as to who could be behind the attack, but of course, forensic and investigative police officers under the Criminal Investigative Department are combing the 2 different locations to collect as much evidence as they can to tell Ugandans who could be behind this attack. Ken?
And take us through what happened exactly in the morning. It's a twin blast. What time did it happen? And what was the response like prior to that? And what is the mood of the people around there right now?
So certainly, Ken, around 10 a.m., it's quite a busy time for everyone. I mean, every city is up by 5 a.m. and by the time it gets to 10 a.m., everyone has arrived in office. It is important for us to look at the location of these 2 blasts. One of them is it's at Jubilee House, right next to Parliament of Uganda. And what that tells us is that that place has the Ministry of Justice. It has different government installations and several banks, several offices, and indeed the Parliament of Uganda. So it's a critical center point uptown Kampala. And so we suspect that people who wanted this explosion to go off were trying to send a signal message. The second bomb, Ken, that went off was next to the Central Police Station in Kampala. Now, this you would think are 2 locations which could be heavily guarded and therefore security being tight. By the time these explosions go off at central places that everyone would think are heavily guarded cannot be taken lightly. And we know that The US issued several communiques to their citizens to really take precautions, even after these bombs went off. But they issued several statements earlier, and certainly I think we have been having these bombs since even last month. And so these are the bombs that have gone off this time around are a little bit different. It was a loud explosion compared to the bombs that we've had before. It is an issue of security, and it returns to debate the aspect of security and the NRM, and indeed President Yoweri Museveni's mandate to protect the people of Uganda. The NRM government has really been boasting about maintaining peace and security, and that has really won the hearts of very many Ugandans in this city. Okay. But once the security is destabilized, then we still question, will this government secure its people? Ken?
A very important question, Solomon. But I have to ask, 2 people dead, twin blasts, and of course the next question is, what kind of explosions were these? Were they suicide bombers, if you would know? Were they cars rigged with explosions, or were they improvised explosive devices planted? Did you know what kind of bombs they were?
I think it's too early to know that, especially that when the bombs went off, everyone was scattering away. The forensics team and the officers in the Criminal Investigations Department who are investigating this issue haven't issued a statement. We're expecting that the police will give out a statement after collecting enough evidence to come out to say whether it was a suicide bomber or a bomb planted in a car or I don't know, any kind of explosion. We don't know some of those answers, but we know that the security operatives will be giving a statement later on in the day, Ken.
All right, Solomon, thank you very much for that update. Solomon Serwanj, Executive Director, Africa Institute for Investigative Journalism. He was, until he became the Executive Director, practicing journalist in Uganda specifically. Of course, we'll be getting more updates. This is a developing story with all our eyes and ears on the ground for you. Let's come back to the country, and it's the political season.